Welcome back to the Bryk Breakdown. I'm Matt Bryk, your host. We had a lot going on in week 3 of the NFL, so let's get right into it with the news. Unfortunately, Mike Williams is out for the year by tearing his ACL. Very unfortunate for him. Wishing him the best throughout his recovery. Derek Carr is currently hurt with his AC joint sprain and is considered week to week. Jimmy Garoppolo unfortunately has a concussion, and I guess he's considered day to day. We'll, he's in the concussion protocol, so keep that to monitor that as we go on throughout the week. Trevor Siemian is now on the New York Jets. Okay, and the one and only Taylor Swift was in Arrowhead this past weekend, which we all know and love. Let's get right into this week 3 review. The Dolphins, it is Tua season. I've said that all off season. Tua Tagovailoa is just playing out of his mind right now. They put up 70 points without Jalen Waddle. Looks phenomenal so far. There was an inadvertent whistle from Amari Cooper. I feel really bad for him because he most likely would have scored or would have been really close to scoring. I hate inadvertent whistles, and something needs to be done about it because it is crushing. Keenan Allen balled out. He had 18 catches for 215 yards and also threw a 49-yard touchdown to Mike Williams. That was crazy to see and was awesome for me because he's on my fantasy football team. Justin Fields looks bad, just not good. I've said it before on this podcast that I really wasn't a big believer in his passing this offseason, and I feel like it's really going to show right now. Bears just might be in contention for another quarterback this offseason, or maybe they try to protect Fields. I don't know, but it's just not looking good right now. The Cowboys took a loss to the Cardinals this weekend. They didn't have Trayvon Diggs, who was out for the year. They didn't have Zach Martin, their left guard, and their center, so I think that's more understandable with that context. But even with that context, Dak still didn't perform the best throughout his career. The Ravens lost to the Colts in overtime. Really, that was just on Justin Tucker. I mean, he's normally automatic, but he missed a field goal to basically win the game, and Colts won. The Packers came back from 17 to nothing, so that was a big win in Green Bay for them. The Texans owned the Jags. They've won 20 in their last 25 matchups, so they're 20-5 in their last 25, which is unbelievable, and I did not know that going into that game. So knowing that information, I think it's less shock that the Texans basically just own the Jags. The Browns defense is absolutely legit. I think they held the Titans to 3 points, so they are going to come and play this year, which will be fun to see. The Broncos are obviously still a mess. Just not looking that great throughout this season so far. I understand that they traded for Sean Payton for a first-round pick, but clearly I don't think that's it's just not enough. The Jets need a quarterback, and it's not named Trevor Siemian. They got to trade for someone, whether it be Justin Fields or Kirk Cousins, something. The report was that Matt Ryan and Carson Wentz reached out to the Jets. However, they hung up. They said, no, thank you. We don't need you. I guess we'll see what happens with Trevor Siemian. Yes, I would say he's better than Zach Wilson, but is he going to win games? I don't know. The Commanders are back to reality after losing to the Bills. Sorry about the technical difficulties. But the Falcons need to utilize Bijan Robinson. He only had 10 carries for 33 yards against the Lions. They drafted him with the 8th pick in the 2023 NFL draft, and it's as if they're not even using him properly. It's very frustrating, and I can only imagine it being frustrating for Falcons fans. Jared Goff is 30-23 at home in his entire career, 9-10 as a Lion. Brandon Staley is still a horrible coach, and I will not be surprised if he gets fired after this season. He went for it on 4th down and did not get it and allowed the Vikings to go and win the game. Luckily for him, Kirk Cousins threw an interception in the end zone, which lost them the game, but still a horrible, horrible coaching decision for Brandon Staley, in my opinion. You punt the ball. The Seahawks are alive and well after beating the Carolina Panthers, who do not have Bryce Young. He's been hurt and may not play again. We will see. The Steelers looked better. They improved. They did play the Raiders, who don't really look that great, in my opinion, especially now with Jimmy G with the concussion. If they have Brian Hoyer going in there, I can only see them not doing worse. So here we're just doing worse. So not great. The Vikings still found a little way to lose, like I said. They're now 0-3, and when you're 0-3, odds are you're probably not going to make the playoffs. So maybe they do find a way to trade Kirk Cousins to the Jets, maybe to the Bears. Who knows? But I guess we'll see more on throughout the year. The Bengals have still struggled in the first half. They've not scored a touchdown, to my understanding. Yes, they still won against the Rams in the Super Bowl matchup. However, Joe Burrow clearly is hurting with his ankle injury, and it might be tough for him for this year. I guess we'll see. They're now calling it the brotherly shove. My Philadelphia Eagles played the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and they absolutely did a lot better than what they have been doing on offense. Dominated on defense, which is great to see. But you do not want to see the push-tush, which is now called the brotherly shove, in my opinion, because if that ball's on the goal line, I'm going to say 9 times out of 10, probably like they're just going to get it in there. Maybe 10 times out of 10. They're just that dominant with the play, and you can see teams are trying it. Some are succeeding, some are not. But the Eagles clearly are top dog when it comes to their own play. And obviously the 49ers dominated the Giants on Thursday Night Football. The Giants offense just needs to figure something out. They're just a stagnant offense, in my opinion. And yes, it was a tough game for them to play the 49ers away. But from what we've seen, yes, the Giants did have that good comeback against the Cardinals last week. However, against the 49ers, they just couldn't find a way to figure the defense out. I'm going to quickly talk about my fantasy teams. I lost in 2 of my leagues and one in my league where I'm the commissioner, so I'm happy about that. I lost by like 14 in my big money league, and I got absolutely embarrassed in my dynasty league because I had I had all my guys in, and the team I was playing decided to start Nick Chubb and Logan Thomas, who did not play. They were both out, and I still lost, which is very embarrassing. Not what you want to see for your fantasy team. Just very frustrating. Now I'm 1-2 in, I want to say all of my leagues, but I think I'm 2-1 in my league. So 2-1 in the league I run, and 1-2 in the other 2. So it's still early, not time to panic yet for fantasy, in my opinion. There's still a lot of football left, but I just think it's too early to panic. Now I'm going to do my week 4 predictions. What am I? So far, my week-to-week picks, I'm 28-20, which is 76.7%, which I will take. This week, Thursday Night Football, the Detroit Lions take on the Green Bay Packers in Green Bay. I'm taking the Lions. Yes, I think it is very difficult to win in Green Bay. But I just feel like the Lions are kind of hot right now. So I'm going to go with the Lions. And yes, it's a divisional game, and they normally play each other tough, but I just like the Lions in this one. The Falcons and the Jags, I'm going to take the Jags. I just don't think the Falcons... I'm not a believer in Desmond Ridder. And yes, the Jags did lose to the Texans, which is a tough loss. And I think they're going to have to bounce back. The Dolphins-Bills game, this one's going to be close for sure, but I think the Dolphins will be able to pull it out and go to 4-0. I'll take the Dolphins. The Denver Broncos versus the Chicago Bears. This game is horrible. 0-3 versus 0-3. Both teams look pretty bad. They just look bad. They're both a mess. But I just feel like at this point, the Bears are the worst team. So I'm going to go with the Broncos. And I might regret that, but I'm going to go with the Broncos. It's at home for the Bears home game. But I'm going with Sean Payton and the Broncos. The Ravens at the Browns. I'm going to go with the Ravens. I think it's tough for them to have that loss in overtime against the Colts, so I'm going to think they go and beat the Browns away. The Bengals versus the Titans. The Titans defense, they supposedly have an excellent run defense, but their pass defense is not so great. And I think the Bengals, this is their time to shine. They need to be able to come back and do their best and play Bengals football for sure. So I'm going to go with the Bengals. Rams versus the Colts. I'm taking the Rams. It's away for the Rams. I think the Rams are underrated at this point. Yes, they're 1-2, but the way they've been playing with Puka Nacua and Kyron Williams, they've done exceptionally well. And I just don't see Gardner Minshew, if he plays, to win again. Even if Anthony Richardson plays, I think it'll be a close game, but I'm going to take the Rams. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers versus the New Orleans Saints. I personally am taking the Saints simply because of their defense. I think their defense is extraordinary, and they're just a dominant defense. Yes, I know they lost to the Packers. They also did lose their quarterback, so I think that's why they lost. But the way Baker Mayfield played against the Eagles did not look that good. He looked pretty bad. So I'm going to go with the Saints. Commanders, Eagles, you know how it is. Go Birds. I'll take the Eagles. They go to 4-0. The Vikings versus the Panthers. This is another game that's just like, I don't know what they're doing. 0-3 versus 0-3. I'm taking the Panthers because you can just run the ball on the Vikings. You can do anything against the Vikings, and I think that's evident. I could be totally wrong, but I'm going with the Panthers. The Pittsburgh Steelers play the Houston Texans. I think this will be a close game as well because I think the Texans defense is underrated. They're doing pretty good, but I'm taking the Steelers because I think Kenny Pickett is improving. The Vegas Raiders versus the Los Angeles Chargers. I'm going to go with the Chargers on this one. I just don't think the Raiders defense is that good. So I'm going with the Chargers. The New England Patriots at Dallas. I won't be surprised if this is a close one. But I'm going with Dallas because I think they'll get their offensive lineman back and win. It's tough to win in Dallas. The Arizona Cardinals versus the 49ers. I'm going with the Niners. I think that's an easy win. The Chiefs versus the Jets. I'm going with the Chiefs. I think that's another easy win. And I'm going Monday Night Football. Seattle Seahawks versus the New York Giants. I'm going with Seattle. The Giants haven't shown anything enough for me to pick them just yet. So, yeah, those are my Week 4 predictions. That'll end it. I'll end it with the quote of the day. Today's quote of the day is, "The young man knows the rules, but the old man knows the exceptions." Oliver Wendell Holmes Sr. Thank you so much for listening to this podcast. Please like, subscribe, review, comment what you think will happen in Week 4. Thank you so much for listening, and have a great day.